The Health Leadership Academy developed the National Health Fellows Program with the big idea that if we can bring people together in the country to think about and sit in how we have to shift our individual and collective consciousness to be able to make real, meaningful change and move towards health creation in every single community in Canada. And if this program could be a lever for that, we would achieve a greater shared purpose than what would be possible in a traditional program. And a critical part of that is the partnership with the McMaster Health Forum to bring about a stakeholder dialogue. That what if we change power for decision-making and defining health into the hands of people who live in Canada? And today's discussion and the biggest insight is, if we want health creation in our country, then the answers for health creation sit in Indigenous ways of knowing and being around wholeness and well-being. And what if we had a metric for well-being in our country, and that communities themselves help those that work in health and care understand what that means so that we can fundamentally redesign our operating system for health and care. And what surfaced is, as a collective, can we learn together? How will we unlearn together? How will we grow together? And how will we have impact together? And how will we keep that sustaining so that we fundamentally shift the culture to one of health and well-being in our country, from healthcare that is focused on sick care? The actions that we can take first is to create new spaces for new learnings. Very often in health and care, we spend time doing, but we don't sit enough time in the space of unlearning and allowing for the human level transformation that has to occur for transformation to actually happen in our country. And what we did today, and what we've been doing through the National Health Fellows Program, and where I think we have an opportunity in our country, is to stop with the way we go about change or the way we think about action, and instead sit in the nervous system of our country, which is the nervous system of each of us that is deeply, deeply negatively affected by health and care, and instead shift to a way that we can make health creation. So practically speaking, what does it look like? First, it looks like a declaration that we will focus on well-being in our country. The second is a declaration that we will welcome the gifts of Indigenous leaders and teachings around health and well-being, connection to the earth, spiritual connection, all in our relations, and so much more. We will also think about health in terms of health creating communities. How do communities take power, or how do we share power so that communities define what health looks like for them? And those that work in health and care become enablers, but not directors of the change. We also talked about learning summits and impact summits, so that the stakeholder dialogue and the National Health Fellows Program is part of creating new energy in the country for health and well-being, and that it is not one and done, but we have to commit to learning together, unlearning together, growing together, and having impact together. And we want to do summits across the country, and then we want to do summits within provinces and territories, but then national summits, so that we keep this momentum going. And citizens, a lot of people talked about, we don't want to necessarily use the word citizens, but residents of Canada defining what's most important on the agenda, and those that work in health and care and have accountability for policies and funding enable what's most important to residents of Canada.